You get the raise you've been waiting for. The number on your paycheck finally moves. And for about a week, you feel it. That clean rush of possibility. Then, something strange happens. You feel busier than before. More tired than before. Somehow, with more money arriving every month, you have less time than you did when you had less of it. The real reason for this isn't bad luck, and it isn't bad budgeting. It's far stranger than that, and it has a name. Time affluence. And once you understand what it actually measures, you'll start to see the trap hiding inside almost every raise, every promotion, every upgrade you've ever celebrated. Let's start with what a raise actually buys you. On paper, more income should mean more freedom, more choices, more room to breathe. But researcher Ashley Whillans, who studies the relationship between money and time at Harvard Business School, found something that unsettled a lot of assumptions about what a good life is built from. Across large surveys, people who prioritize time over money reported significantly higher life satisfaction than people who prioritized money over time, regardless of how much money either group actually had. Wealth itself wasn't the deciding factor. What predicted happiness was which resource a person protected first when the two came into conflict. And they almost always do come into conflict, because most raises don't arrive quietly. They arrive with new expectations attached. Think about what usually happens right after you earn more. You move to a slightly bigger apartment, one with a longer commute. You buy the car that matches your new job title, one that needs more insurance, more maintenance, more parking arrangements. You upgrade the wardrobe, the furniture, the vacations. Each individual choice feels reasonable in the moment. You can afford it now, so why not? But look at what each of these purchases actually cost you underneath the price tag. Not money, time. A bigger apartment means a longer commute eating into your evenings. A nicer car means more hours spent researching, maintaining, worrying about it. A promotion often means more meetings, more availability expected of you, more of your calendar quietly handed over to someone else's priorities. This pattern has a name too. Economists call it lifestyle inflation, but that phrase makes it sound almost harmless, like a mild and expected side effect of success. The truer name for what's happening is a trade. You are trading time you can never get back for possessions that will spend the rest of their existence asking for a small piece of your attention. It's worth noticing how quickly this trade compounds. The bigger apartment doesn't just cost you the commute once. It costs you that same 20 or 30 minutes, twice a day, for as long as you live there. A debt that renews itself every single morning, whether you notice it or not. The nicer car doesn't just cost you the extra care you give it once. It costs you a small, ongoing tax of attention every time something rattles, every time it needs servicing, every time you instinctively check on it instead of thinking about anything else. None of these costs show up on a single receipt. They arrive in installments small enough to ignore and steady enough to eventually define your entire week. Here's where it gets stranger. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman spent years studying not just how much money makes people happy, but how people actually experience their days. Working with colleagues on what's called the day reconstruction method, Kahneman found that people's moment-to-moment emotional experience was shaped far more by how they spent their hours, commuting, waiting, being interrupted, than by their income bracket. A person earning significantly more money but spending an extra 90 minutes a day commuting in traffic often reported worse daily well-being than someone earning less who walked to work. The raise looked like progress on a spreadsheet. It felt like a loss in the actual hours of a person's life. This is the part that catches most people off guard. You would never consciously agree to sell an hour of your evening for a slightly nicer kitchen countertop. But that is functionally the exchange rate every lifestyle upgrade quietly enforces. The kitchen doesn't ask for your time directly. It asks for it in installments, a little maintenance here, a little more working overtime to afford it there, until one day you notice the evenings you used to spend doing nothing in particular have simply vanished. Kahneman's research also uncovered something almost paradoxical about how we plan our lives around this blind spot. When people were asked in advance to predict how a raise or a new purchase would affect their day-to-day mood, they consistently overestimated the boost and completely failed to account for the new time obligations that would arrive alongside it. The mind is good at imagining the moment of receiving something. It's remarkably poor at imagining the years of small maintenance that follow. So why does this trap catch intelligent, capable people so consistently? Why doesn't everyone simply notice the pattern and opt out? Part of the answer comes from research by psychologist Elizabeth Dunn, who has spent years studying what money actually does and doesn't do for happiness. Dunn's work found that people are remarkably bad at predicting which purchases will genuinely improve their well-being. We consistently overestimate how much satisfaction a physical object will bring us, and consistently underestimate how much satisfaction comes from protecting our time and our relationships. This isn't a failure of intelligence. It's a failure of visibility. A new couch is visible. Friends can see it, compliment it, react to it in the moment. An evening with nothing scheduled is invisible in the same way. Nobody posts a photo of the 2 hours they didn't have to spend anywhere, so the trade keeps favoring the thing that can be seen over the thing that can only be felt. There's also a deeper, older reason this trap works so well on you specifically. Money is countable. You can watch it grow in an account, track it in an app, compare it against a number you set as a goal 5 years ago. Time is not like this. It doesn't accumulate anywhere you can check. It only spends. This asymmetry means your brain naturally treats money as the resource worth optimizing, because it's the one you can actually measure improving. Meanwhile, time slips away in a currency with no visible balance, which makes it dangerously easy to overspend without ever feeling the withdrawal until it's already gone.